And he's sort of made an accommodation with the Republicans to solve the problem. The problem is, how can he, Mr. Obama, who's pledged to represent his constituency and the Democrats, how can he move way to the right of where George Bush was at? Well, the only way he could do this would be for the Republicans to move even further to the right. So the Republicans have accommodated Mr. Obama by pushing the crazy wing of their party, the Tea Parties, Michelle Bachmann, the Alaskan governor, Palin, and they've come with such a crazy, intransigent right-wing attitude that now Mr. Obama can move way to the right and essentially still triangulate and say, look, I'm better than these guys are. And he's hoping that people will vote for him just because he's not as bad as the Republican Tea Partyists. Well, the reality, of course, is that there are not going to be many people showing up to vote on the Democratic side, and it's quite possible the Republicans would get in. And the one silver lining for the Republicans winning in 2012 would be, at that point, the Democratic Congress would find its backbone again once it's in opposition, and would say no to the Republicans trying to push the policy that Mr. Obama is now trying to push. Well, you asked about the economy. The economy is going under because Wall Street and investors realize that it's a done deal, that Mr. Obama is going to succeed in pushing the economy much further into a depression. We need a depression in order to cut living standards and labor by 30%. We need a depression in order just to lower the wages of America and to have an excuse. Of course, a depression is going to make the budget deficit even larger. And the solution to the depression has already been written up, just like the invasion of Iraq was all written up before 9/11. The solution is going to be that the government is going to sell off its land, whatever is in the public domain. The American government is going to look just like Greece and just like Ireland. They're going to be told the states can't pay. There's no federal revenue to share with Minnesota or Wisconsin or the city of Chicago. They're going to have to sell off their roads, sell off their streets, sell off their infrastructure, sell off their public utilities, sell off their bus lines. The government will sell whatever it has, the Postal Service, to essentially buyers who will now borrow the money from the banks, making a huge new market for banks and investment bankers, in privatizing and cutting up what used to be the public domain and turning it over to the wealthiest 10% of the economy. So people realize, yes, the class war is back in business. We're going into a depression. We'll buy back all these stocks after they go, but meanwhile, the game's over. Let's grab what we can and just bail out. And that's what's happening now.
What is your assessment of the current debate in Washington concerning the raising of the debt ceiling? This debate seems to be taking place between the Obama administration and the Republicans without much input from Democrats.
It's a good cop, bad cop deal, a charade that they're both playing. The Republicans are playing the role of the bad cop, saying you have to not raise taxes on anybody, no progressive income tax at all, no closing of the tax loopholes, not even a prosecution for income tax fraud. And by the way, we can get a lot of money if we just give a tax holiday to all of the companies and the individuals that have been keeping their money offshore. Let's just free wealthy people from taxes altogether, and that will help recover. So they're being sort of the bad cop. So Obama can pretend to be the good cop and say, hey, boys, let me at least do something. You know, I'm willing to cut back Social Security. I'm willing to take over really what was the George Bush program. But you have to let me get a little bit of revenue somewhere. And at the very end, the Republicans will say, oh, okay, so you can throw us in the briar patch. And they'll give something, and they'll essentially get their program, and Obama will have sold out his constituency. Now, the question is, what will the Democrats do? They don't know what to do. The politicians I talk to say nobody's going to challenge Mr. Obama in 2012. He has his constituency pretty much locked up in the Democratic Party. So they can't really run against him. He's put as the leadership in Congress, he's promoted all of the worst of the blue dog Democrats. Fortunately, most of them were the ones who lost their office in the last election. But essentially, we're still living with the consequences of Rahm Emanuel, who said a crisis is too good to waste. Let's use this to really lock in our pro-Wall Street program. If there's any group that's to the right of the Republican Party, it's the Democratic Leadership Committee. The Clintons, the Rahms, the Clinton manager who was appointed to the Simpson-Bowles Commission, Erskine Bowles. So what Mr. Obama is doing is really pushing forth now the recommendations of the Simpson-Bowles Commission that he'd appointed right after he was elected, but before he took office. So he's now says that, okay, he's going to go with this bipartisan commission, and the Republicans will pretend to say, well, we really wanted to get the deal done. We've got a lot. And they'll go along with what really is a Republican program. What can the Democrats do? They're stymied.
Now, Obama wants to cut $4 trillion out of the budget, while the Republican leader, Boehner, only wants a $2.4 trillion cut. I've also read that it was Obama, not the Republicans, who proposed putting Social Security cuts on the table. Why would Obama be proposing much larger cuts than the Republicans?
For two reasons. Number one, he can get away with it. No Republican administration could ever have got away with cutting Social Security. That is the most basic income protection program that Americans have, and it was sold as saying, look, this is not a social welfare program, it's not a tax, this is money that you've put in. In order to double-cross his constituency, only a Democrat could do it. And only a Democrat posing as a left-winger could really pull the double-cross that Mr. Obama is posing.
I'm speaking with financial economist and historian Dr. Michael Hudson. Today's show, Guns, Finance, and Butter. Finance is the new mode of warfare. I'm Bonnie Faulkner. This is Guns and Butter. China has warned the U.S., quote, do not default. What would be the implications and ramifications of a U.S. default? Would a U.S. default put the entire global banking system into crisis?
Nothing would happen at all. Everybody knows there's not going to be a default. China would not lose a cent on this. China would say, okay, if you can't pay us the treasury bills, that's okay. There's a lot of American investment in China. We'll just take possession of it at its book value. They wouldn't mind that very much. A default would mean that the dollar would not be acceptable again until the United States paid. And again, there's not going to be a default. But if there were, America would have no way of paying for its military bases anymore. America would be unable to extend the war. Mr. Obama couldn't be the war president. I mean, even before he took office, he won the Nobel War Prize. So you knew that he was going to escalate wherever he could. That's what the War Prize is given for. That's why it was given to Kissinger and to other people who go to war. And he wouldn't be able to extend the war into Libya. He wouldn't be able to extend it to the other Near East. He wouldn't be able to surround Russia with more nuclear weapons. He wouldn't be able to attack the bases in Afghanistan and Pakistan. He wouldn't be able to follow his war to become the war president that he set out to be.
Would a U.S. default send interest rates soaring? And if so, what would be the economic effect?
An interest rate wouldn't matter if you default. I mean, if you tell me I can rent you an IOU, but you're not going to collect, I'll give you 20%. What does it matter if you default? No, it wouldn't send interest rates soaring at all. It wouldn't have any effect at all. This is all a just pretend argument to create the crisis, to give Mr. Obama the opportunity to do what politicians do, to sell out his constituency to his campaign contributors on Wall Street. He's going to go down as a Hubert Hoover, or rather a Warren Harding, probably. He's going to go down as a man who brought on the Depression that the Republicans never could have gotten away with. Only a Democrat posing as a left-winger could support the anti-labor, anti-wage, pro-Wall Street policies that his advisors have been pressing. And there again, that came out in the New York Times interview with Sheila Bair.